wait for the muse? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Today we're going to be talking about an issue that is it's most common with artists and so forth, where they wait for the muse to enter their lives and to give them inspiration. And I'm wondering whether you do the same thing, either for your creativity or for your business or anything that you do professionally. Do you wait for it to hit you? So we're going to get into that a little bit, but first I wanted to give a quick little plug to dreambizchat.com. If you happen to be a business owner or an executive that's in the self-reliance field, meaning you have products and services that help people to become more self-reliant, go to dreambizchat.com. The link is in the description. There's a quick video there to watch. I'd love to hear what you think. If you're interested in what it's talking about, fill out the application, dreambizchat.com. Like I said, link is in the description. So let's talk about creativity and how it comes about, because it always seemed to me, because I've always been involved with creative things all through my life. I'm not that artistic of a person. I don't have one of these things that I do really well that everyone looks to and goes, ooh, ah, But I've always been interested in creativity. I've always been interested in artsy things. I did theater and things like that in high school and everything else, along with everything. I mean, I played football and everything too. I did everything. But when you're interested in those type of things, oftentimes the attitude is that you have to wait for it to come to you. And if you do, it will come to you eventually. If you're waiting for it, whether you're creating a piece of art, whether any form of creation, it's going to eventually hit you on its own if you let it. The problem is you're always on its schedule. You're always waiting for some inspiration to come out of the ether and hit you. And one thing I found this out relatively later in life, it doesn't need to work that way. And I didn't know that. I thought it had to work that way. I thought you had to wait for these type of things. But there's a lot of people who do this. And one thing that I found when I started producing podcasts, started doing video chats like the one we're doing here today, that if I have it in my schedule, the creativity shows up. It just comes. It comes naturally once I start putting pen to paper. If you're talking about writing, the late great Gary Halbert, who's a marketing guru, he said that you just got to start writing. You just got to start putting pen to paper. If that's your goal, is to become a good writer, you just have to start writing. And I'm not sure if he's the one that mentioned it or if it was someone else. It doesn't matter even if you write down nonsense words or you just wiggle your pen on the piece of paper. Just start the process, and eventually something will start coming out. And eventually those things that'll come out will take form. And the more you train, it's a habit. You can train your brain to be creative at a certain time of day or a certain time of the week or what have you. You can train it to happen every time on command. And it may not start up immediately. It may take a couple minutes to get going, but you can do it, and you can train yourself to tap into that part, wherever it is in your mind, and pull out what's needed for creativity. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be the best every time, but you are going to create so much more than you would have otherwise, and you will find patterns and systems to be able to build off of that. Now, I'm looking down on my notes because I wrote down some ideas about this. Habits is the big thing about that, and having some form of a schedule. If there's any way that you can set aside a little bit of time for creativity, for whatever you need to be creative about, and test out different things. If you're just trying to produce content, like when it comes to your business and so forth, like we've talked about before, try out doing video. It doesn't matter whether you show anyone the videos. Try out recording your voice. Doesn't matter if anyone ever gets to hear it. Just start going through the process. Try out writing. Try out doing it by hand, or try typing in a computer. So one of these things is going to appeal to you more than another, and you ought to stick to that and start doing it on a regular basis. If you do, you'll get better and better, and the creativity will flow on its own. You'll see it. It really does work. I never believed that. I never tried. Like, really, only the last couple years have I started doing this, and it's really had a huge effect. And I can see that if I did it in more areas of my life, I'd have an even better effect. Now, you can see examples of this out there. I was talking with Sean Douglas, the producer of our podcasts, and he was saying that Adam Sandler, his production company, puts out the same real similar movies, cookie cutter movies, and then they'll expand out into other areas, like they started doing kids movies and everything else. But they find a formula and they pound it out one right after the other. And you got a lot of people that will complain, well, those are just garbage movies. Well, yeah, but look at all the people that watch them. Look at all the people that pay for the tickets and everything else. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Also, James Patterson, who writes books, and I don't know how many he writes a year, I think he puts out a couple a year, if not every other year, and it's consistent. I mean, the guy has, I don't know, hundreds of books. Go and look it up, James Patterson, and look at the fact that they're all bestsellers. He hits it time after time after time again. He's found a pattern. He's stuck with it. He doesn't wait for the muse to hit him. He just produces, and he produces, and he produces. Where you compare that to the writer of Game of Thrones. What was his name? R.R. Martin or whatever, and he still hasn't finished the books. And they put out the TV show. The TV show went faster than he did, and he never finished the books in time because he's waiting for the muse to hit him. I mean, I believe he's made statements similar to that out there. So don't be like that. If you can, try and be a producer. It doesn't matter if you produce a whole bunch of garbage. You're going to produce more gold in the long run by just getting active. Get in the movement and start producing, and don't wait for the muse. Hey, I hope this was helpful for you. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to have another talk. I want to talk about the same type of thing tomorrow, as far as what it takes to actually get something moving. If you haven't started moving yet, what that's going to take, and what's one thing that might get in your way. We'll talk about that tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.